Good morning, Lewis. I am Logan Kapp along with Hannah Gasick. We hope you guys can start your morning here every Tuesday morning live at 8:30.
Yep, and again, Logan, we have more things going on at Lewis this week. Last week we talked to Dan Friend and Laura Lee Smith, and they told us about their Ray Strong Foundation, and this Wednesday is the men's volleyball Playing for Preemies night when they take on Loyola.
Yeah, Hannah, it's a great cause. If you have a chance to come out to Neil Carey Arena tomorrow night, I highly recommend it. The volleyball team is playing Loyola. It'll be a great game, really packed house. I think it'll be a fun time.
Yeah.
It always is.
And if you want to learn more about the Ray Strong Foundation, you can check out last week's episode of Good Morning Lewis or go to raystrong.org.
Yeah, it's a great cause, a great people. Go check that out if you haven't seen it, but I'm looking forward to seeing all the purple tomorrow night in the Neil Carey Arena. But for right now on Good Morning Lewis, we have some of our top tweets of the week for Top Tweet Tuesday. Top Tweet Tuesday. Let us, first of all, take a look at our Twitter bird right there. Love that patented Twitter bird. But let's take a look at tweet number one, shall we?
Okay. So you know how the movie theater always says no outside food or candy allowed? I feel like I refuse to buy anything from the movie theater except popcorn. I'll buy popcorn and that's it. Like, I bring everything else myself. I bring my jacket with all my pockets in it, and I put candy in there. I put water bottle.
Absolutely, load up. Yeah, absolutely.
I look like that.
I think so. First of all, this looks like a popcorn bag, but I feel like if they didn't charge like $18 for like one Snickers bar, I feel like it would be a little bit different. But my grandma even brings popcorn to the movie theater, so she doesn't even want to buy the popcorn. She brings her own popcorn.
I feel like movie theater popcorn is just different. You know,
that is true.
It's got the butter on it. It's like,
yeah.
It's
but yeah, I definitely go big bucket.
Oh, for sure.
That.
The large bucket,
yeah,
yes.
Absolutely. Can't get enough of that. But yeah, it's crazy. All right, tweet number two. Let's see it. Oh, yeah. Patrick Kane saluted the United Center a couple nights ago after being the #1 star. I don't know. I'm a huge hockey fan. Anyone that knows me knows that. And with all the trade rumors swirling around about Patrick Kane, I mean, it was great to see a vintage Kaner performance the other night. I don't know if you were able to catch that game.
I didn't catch the game, but I did see actually on Twitter. I saw the updates about Kane hat trick.
Yeah, he is great player. I don't know if he'll be around, so gotta.
I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so too, honestly. But yeah, great player. Love that. Great time for the Blackhawks. But yeah, so all right, tweet number three. Let's see it.
So when I say the other day, it can be any time between yesterday and my birth. I feel like that's very true. Like, I just say that all the time. Like, oh, the other day I did that, and it's like it was a year ago, but it was the other. I mean, it was the other day. It was a day that was not today.
I feel that. I don't know if that's just a Midwestern thing. We
Maybe
talked about.
Is.
I don't know, but I feel like that's also like when old people be like a million years ago when this happened, but it's like when I was young, I'm like, I don't. What do you mean a million years ago? Are you really that old?
Are you a million?
But yeah. Cool. Well, tweet number three. Do we have another tweet? Yes, we do. Yes. Look at that dad joke of the week. Dad joke is back for this week. You know I love that. I'm not a fan of elevator music. It's so bad on so many levels.
I missed that dad joke.
I feel like, yeah, the awkward silence fits that joke perfectly. But you know I love my dad jokes. Come on. They're funny.
It is funny. It's a good way to start out your Tuesday morning.
It really is. It gets a good laugh, if nothing else. Cool. Well, do we have one more tweet?
I think we have a TikTok now.
We have a TikTok.
So
all right, yeah. Let's take a look at the TikTok. Oh, yeah. Forgot about this. I feel like when TikTok first came out, it was all just random hacks like this.
Well, now it's like I feel like you can learn so much from it. Like you can learn, like I didn't know.
Absolutely, yeah. I feel like I'm gonna have to just start wearing a tie on this show just to tie it like that. I mean, that's pretty impressive. Right? I don't know. It took me long enough to learn how to tie a tie the regular way, and I still have to do it in the mirror. So I don't know if it would probably take me even longer to learn to tie it like that.
I have no idea how to tie a tie. So that's
impressive. That is very impressive.
Tips, yeah.
I like that a lot. TikTok hacks are back. That's the new trend. Yeah. Hacks and dances. I don't know. At least my whole feed is just hacks. You don't want to see me dance. Maybe tie a tie, but not dance. You don't want to see that. But cool. All right. Well, next we've got some funny feel-good stories of the week for some feel-good flyers. We're bringing that back this week, Hannah.
Yep, with motivation and positivity. So our first story, a 103-year-old woman, Mary Muniz. She's seen twice as many parades in her lifetime than most, and she has no intention of stopping now. She was on the parade route at Mardi Gras watching her 80-year-old daughter ride with the crew of Iris. She's always had a love for New Orleans and Mardi Gras that still hasn't faded. She's said to be like Mardi Gras. She is the queen. She is what's good in life.
Yeah, did you see her hat? I love
Right?
that hat. I
She
feel
really
like
gets into Mardi Gras.
Absolutely, yeah. And Mardi Gras is an intense experience.
Definitely.
Like,
That's one of the biggest parade. And it must be crazy in New Orleans and Mardi Gras. Like, and for a 103-year-old woman to be just sitting there.
It's all the hat though. The hat just
It's
does
in the
it.
hat,
That's
yeah,
all
it's
she
in the
needs, and she's ready to go. But that's awesome. Feel good a little bit this Tuesday morning. A different type of Bigfoot has been found in the UK. A Megalosaurus footprint in an area called the Dinosaur Coast. It measures 3 feet in length. It is the largest of its kind for the 3-toed footprint, and one of only 6 to be found in that area. So I feel like that's the only Bigfoot footprint we're gonna ever find. But it's still pretty cool.
That is cool.
I mean, who doesn't love dinosaurs?
No, I love dinosaurs. I went to Jurassic Park, Jurassic World. I love watching them.
Exactly. What's your favorite kind of dinosaur?
I like that one, like the one that eats the leaves off the trees. Like it's
one
really,
that
it's
eats
cute.
the
It's with the
leaves.
long neck. I don't know what it's called.
Okay. Well, my favorite is the dinosaur chicken nugget. That's what I like a lot.
That's a good one too.
But cool. Yeah.
All right, another story. A dramatic dog rescue unfolded on a busy freeway in Southern California on Friday morning. A nurse was one of the Good Samaritans who stopped and saved the puppy on the freeway. The puppy is now safe, but the search for the owner is underway.
Wow. Look at that.
I mean, I'm glad the puppy is safe now because on the freeway, you're driving 80 miles per hour.
That's not something you expect to see on the. I know I've seen
definitely
a
not.
couple deer on the freeway before, especially around in this area, like late at night. But
Yeah, I've never seen a puppy.
I haven't either. I saw a plane a couple weeks ago. Did you see that on 355?
I did see that about the plane.
Yeah, lots. I don't know. Lots of crazy stuff happening around
It's just
here.
on the freeway, yeah.
I don't know. But it took more than a century, but a letter addressed to a South London flat finally reached its destination. The current occupant, Finley Glenn, saw the 16 year on the envelope and assumed it meant 2016, rightfully so, until he noticed the stamp that featured King George V instead of Queen Elizabeth II. Wow, that is quite the long postage. I feel like that's even longer than the U.S. postage. I feel
I would say so.
Well, the letter was written by the daughter of a sea merchant and was addressed to the wife of a local stamp magnate. So, I don't know.
Wow.
I feel at least if they're going to deliver, it's better late than never, right?
That's true. It's better late than never. I like that.
Yeah, at least when it comes to the postal service. But when we come back, we will be talking to Ken Hobelt about the event Laugh to Create Awareness. You won't want to miss it. Stay with us. Welcome back to Good Morning Lewis. I am here now with Ken Hobelt, who is in charge of the Laugh to Create Awareness fundraiser. Ken, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. You want to tell us a little bit about why you started this cause and kind of event?
Yeah, so, mental illness is, as we know, is a very ongoing problem, but personally it affected me About 6 years ago, 7 years ago, a family member of mine was in the hospital after a suicide attempt. And while I was at the hospital, I would go down to take a break, go down to the lobby, and sit around. Inevitably, run into somebody you know, and they would ask why I was there, and I would lie. I'd tell them I was there for a test, or one of the other kids was there for something, or whatever it might be. Until the last day, on the 6th day, we talked with one of my cousins who I ran into, and I had to tell him the truth. And it did. It made me feel so much better that I could just tell the truth of why I was there. And so I realized right then and there we had to do something about it. Fast forward, Luigi Amendola from Lewis came knocking on the door and asked if we would get involved as a group of alumni. And after talking to some of the people that we still hang out with that went to school here, we decided that we would put together a group, but we would only talk about an event if it only dealt with mental illness.
And why is it so important to talk about mental illness?
I think one of the things that you look at is that people don't, there's a stigma associated with it. If little Johnny breaks his arm playing football, oh, it was a great tackle, you missed it on there too. But if little Johnny's got trouble, with mental illness, well then that's not, people don't want to talk about it, and they should. One of the events that happened shortly after those days at the hospital was I was sitting having lunch at a Potbelly restaurant, and there was a lady came in and said to her friend, said, I got to tell you something, my son is battling depression and mental illness. And the lady said, no, she goes, don't worry about it, I won't tell anybody. And right then and there I said, no, it's the opposite, you should tell everybody, because there's nothing wrong with it. And that's what we have to realize as a society, that we can talk about it, and that there is nothing wrong with it, and that it's only going to help people to talk about it.
Yeah, why do you think there is such a stigma around mental health? I mean, it's something that we've all been dealing with, especially lately since the pandemic. Why do you think that kind of exists?
I don't, I'm not a scientist or anything, but I think it's just, what I do know is that it's an easy fix. It's an easy fix that by just talking about it, that we can get out there and do it. The one thing to realize is that, depression and mental health, it's socioeconomical, that not only affects the person that's going through, but it affects the family, the friends that goes through there. It affects the workplace, therefore it affects the economy. And then, as we know, there's so many more people that are affected by it, whether it's soldiers, whether it's policemen or first responders, and people that, basically that just need the help to get it. There's a statistic that's out there that 1 out of 4 Americans suffer from a diagnosable form of mental illness.
Wow.
And 2/3 of those folks don't get help either because of the stigma associated with it or because there's the lack of insurance on there too. So, if we could fix this by just talking about it, we can't fix it all, but we can fix a lot of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, something that we've all dealt with lately has been COVID. Can you talk a little bit about how the pandemic has kind of affected everyone's mental health?
Yeah, I think, when you go from, as a society or as a country, or as a world that we go through and we're used to doing things, and then it gets changed within a short period of time, from not going to work, from not going to school, from not, doing Zoom meetings, and I still can't get those right. But nonetheless, it changed the way we did things. So that's going to affect it on there too. And then, so I think there's a lot of work that needs to be done there too. And again, it goes back to talking about it, creating awareness on there too. So when we started this, we had 3 goals in mind. Number 1 was to create awareness. The fact that we're just sitting here right now, you and I, Logan, talking about it, is that we're we're creating awareness. So, and then number 2 was to create scholarship. We created a scholarship here at Lewis for graduate students who are going on to become counselors. And the one thing is that we look for is that somebody that's been affected personally, whether themselves or somebody around them has been affected by mental illness. Who better to go out and get to be a counselor than somebody's experience? If you go to work, if your car breaks down, you don't want to go talk to the dentist. He's not going to help you fix your car in there too. These are people that went there. So we've endowed the scholarship. Now we're working on, by having the Laugh to Create Awareness, we're trying to increase those, because I know all college students like scholarships. So
absolutely,
we're trying to help out. And number 3, we assist with some funding to the Lewis University Counseling Center. So that they can educate 6,500 students that can go out into the world and say that, talking about mental illness is okay.
Yeah. And so coming to this event that's coming up this weekend, you want to tell us a little bit about what it is?
Sure. It's a comedy night. And, a lot of people say, why comedy? Well, if you think about it, depression, mental illness is a inward sign on there too, and it keeps everything inside. When you laugh, it's a natural reaction on there too, and it's out there too. And you know, when you're at the comedy night, you're gonna hear people just burst out laughing on there too. And I sit there and I'm like, this is really cool. This is great because it's the opposite of what we're trying to do. So that's why we created a comedy night. I've always been one that likes comedy, and I thought it was a good chance for us to get in there.
Yeah, and can you tell us a little bit about when it is and where it is?
Exactly. So it's going to be this Saturday night, 7 p.m. at the Beverly Arts Center. We've got 4 great comedians. We've got Joe Kilgallen. Tell you a little story about Joe is that he's been with us for all 4 years. This is out of 5 years. We took 1 year off for COVID, but Joe was here at the original Laugh to Create Awareness event, 2018, 19, whatever it was. Joe came. Joe's wife had a baby that morning.
Wow.
It was snowing like crazy. Joe showed up. Joe's our guy. Joe's going to be everything. He's got all new material. He's going to be great on there too. Also, we have Jeannie Dugan, who's a Southside gal, that's going to talk about some of her growing up on the South Side. So that's going to be fun. We've got Sean Flannery, great comedian, does a lot of work at the clubs on the North Side. And then last but not least, we got Tony Fuentes. Tony was featured on WGN as one of Chicago's very own. He's an Army veteran who suffers from post-traumatic stress disorder, and he uses comedy as an outlet. And you know, that's going to be a real fun thing to watch.
Yeah, I love comedy. Hopefully, I can make it out. If people want to get tickets, how can they go about getting tickets?
Okay, tickets are available at the door. They're $50 each. Just come on out. I know there's a student discount. You guys like discounts, so we took care of that. So there's a student discount. If you look on the alumni page from the website, you'll find all the details there.
Awesome. And then in terms of the scholarship as well, how can people find out more about the scholarship?
You know, I think if you went to the counseling center, again, I don't know the logistics about that. I could tell you one thing, that and the committee is made up mostly of Lewis grads, and then we've got a couple of our friends that joined us that help us out a lot. And the hardest thing that we do is deciding who is going to get that scholarship, because we get the 5 finalists that comes in, and every one of them is great. We've awarded 3. I can tell you 2 of the 3. We got some good heated debate, discussion about it, because you know we're passionate about what we do, and it was there too. The 1 year it was a clear-cut winner. That person that won the scholarship, so it was great. That was on there too.
Absolutely, Ken. Thank you so much for coming and talking with me about this. Laugh to Create Awareness is happening this weekend at the Beverly Arts Center. Be sure to check it out. Again, thank you for being with us. Thank you for tuning in to Good Morning Lewis this week. Have a great week.